I am excited to bring our next keynote to the stage. So if your chair is not facing the stage, now's a great time to turn that chair around, but bring that notebook with you because you're gonna wanna put some stuff down. Jennifer Hamady is a vocal coach and board-certified therapist specializing in emotional and technical issues that interfere with self-expression. She began her career recording, performing, and touring with many of the music's top names. Clap it up if you know some of these names, by the way. First off, including Stevie Wonder. Ever heard of him? Hey. Patti LaBelle. Oh, we got some fans. Christina Aguilera. Def Leppard. And not a music performance, but if you've ever seen them, Cirque du Soleil. Yeah, amazing. And now she works in a private practice with singers and speakers on their communication, expression, and performance. She's written not one, not two, but 3 books on the topic and writes regularly. Oh God, that's a hard word for me. Writes regularly for... Sorry, it's actually one of the words that trips me up. So she writes on a regular basis with Psychology Today on creative expression. Please welcome, start clapping your hands right now for Jennifer Hamady.
Thank you, Tom. Hey guys, how are you? I'm really good. Thank you. Who sat there? Thank you. I was lucky enough to be here to hear Tom speak a little while ago. How many of you guys were here for the public speaking, self-expression part, what do you guys call that, the breakout? Yeah. You guys, most of you are here, right? Okay, so I'm gonna, frankly, just build on what Tom said, because he said a good bit of what I definitely would have wanted to convey, which is all about mindset. Mindset more than skills, in my experience, is vastly superior when it comes to preparedness. So when Daryl and I were planning today, I was thinking about giving you a speech, talking to you, but I honestly think, having been here today, I was here for Aman earlier this morning, who was amazing, right? And yesterday too for a little bit. I wanted to actually kind of share the content with you guys that I'd love to get across through communication. So I actually wanted to start today and spend most of our time answering specific questions you guys have about communication or self-expression, things that you are dealing with, things you're afraid of. I don't know if you guys have speeches coming up or performances. I don't know if you have things that you're like, I can't figure this out, or I'm terrified to get on stage. And then also, I don't know, I think there was an email that went out. If any of you want to actually come up and work with me, if you're feeling brave, if you want to come up and do some talking and have us take a look together at the way you carry yourself or present yourself, the way you speak. I just find that, especially in such a limited amount of time, making these concepts real in the room and in your bodies is just so much more interesting than me babbling at you for an hour. So I don't know if you guys are all game. Does anybody want to start us off? Yeah, okay, cool, a lot of people. And I love walking around, so if this microphone shuts off, somebody just tell me and I'll come back, okay? Yes, come on up. You guys, and somebody, Daryl was like, I don't know, you might have to like work. I was like, these people are gonna come up, I'm not worried about it. Now, you've gotten up a couple times, right?
Yes.
Tell me your name.
I'm Gio.
Gio, I'm Jennifer.
Nice to meet
you. Yes, let's say hi to Gio. All right, well, I feel like we should get some chairs and like, what is that, between two ferns? Like just have a nice conversation. Yeah, why not? Let's get some chairs. I mean, I like standing, but it's kind of nice to sit. You can pass that to me. I'll probably drop it and break something. I won't break anything. Well, I don't know, now that I said it, I will break something. All right. Hi, Gio.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Living my best life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Is that something that happened at the summit, or is that just you?
That's been something happening for the last 20 years. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go to the audience, and Gio's going to talk to you about how to live a great life, because that's much.
Oh, man.
No, well, but tell me your question or anything you want to talk about. I'm here.
I just want to talk about how do you stay motivated? How do you find that motivation within you to get up in the morning and continue doing what you love? And despite negativity, despite the negative voices, why do you continue doing what you love to do?
Okay, so a very easy question, right, guys? Okay. Well, it's not a short answer to your question, but The first thing that comes to my mind, honestly, is that you have to figure out what, I think someone talked about values here in one of the keynotes. Mm-hmm. I think values are important, but I think for me in my life, and I know Tom too talked about thoughts and feelings, right? I don't think you can ever make the thoughts and feelings go away. I think you call them the negative voices. Is that what you said in the morning? So for me, what has worked is finding a commitment to something larger than myself that I'm willing to give my life to.
Right.
As a matter of my word and my commitment. So
right.
when the thoughts and feelings start going, or if I get nervous being in front of people or whatever it might be,
right.
or I don't feel motivated, I think, but I've given my word and my life to something.
Right.
And then it's a matter of having the discipline, which is tough, right?
Right.
To be a stand in that and to choose being present over perfect, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment.
Right.
So that's what works for me.
Awesome. Everybody around me.
No, but I don't know. And I'm trying to think, that sounds very conceptual, but I'll try to give you a couple examples. I'm trying to, maybe one, because I do want to give you guys a chance to talk more, but if I've told my husband that I'm going to, that's a stupid example. I can't think of a good example right now,
Okay.
but I think whether it's professional or personal, the other area that I think it's important is, as I said, we can't control our thoughts and feelings, but one thing I think we can control is what comes out of our mouths. So most of us have, we're humans, right? There's no stopgap between thought, feeling, speech, right? It's like, I feel really crappy, I'm really angry, I'm so pissed at you, right? So one thing I'm still working on is just to literally put like a wall between those things. So I might have a thought, I might have a feeling, but if I have a commitment to being really great with you, that's what comes out. And then in like a circle, that commitment, that action, then shapes and changes my thoughts and feelings.
Awesome.
So did that answer your question?
That answered my question. Surpassed my question, actually.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Stu. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you, too. All right, anybody, who else? Anyone? Yeah, let's just all of you come on up. Yeah, please come on up. Or I can walk to you. It doesn't matter. It's easier to see up here, though, probably? Yeah. Okay. Come on up. Hi. What's your name? I have like 2 microphones.
Hi, Francesca.
Hi, Francesca. You guys want to give a round of applause, make her feel welcome? Here, I'll give you a microphone.
All right, so my name's Francesca. I'm from Montclair State. I'm the social media coordinator for NSLS, but I'm a communication and media arts major, but I'm also a musical theater minor.
Okay.
So I really like to sing, but that's kind of like my side hustle.
Okay.
But I came from a small high school, so I was like a big fish in a little pond with the music. And now that I'm a musical theater minor, I'm a small fish in a big pond. So auditions are coming up for the theater shows. So I'm just trying to seek advice on how to stand out or like defeat all the negative thoughts.
So, she's the second person that mentioned the negative thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So, by the way, if there's anything you don't want to answer, you can always put your hand up and be like, that's too personal, but I'm going to push a little bit, if that's okay?
Okay, yeah.
She's like, no!
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're willing, can you share some of what the personal, like what is some of the negative? What's going on? Because you said simultaneously how you can do well and how you can get over the thoughts.
Yeah. So I guess my biggest fault is probably thinking I don't have enough training or all of these people are better at the craft than I am. They have more experience.
Okay.
I get a little bit of stage fright too. Like right now I'm kind of like shaking and my heart's beating fast. But that's pretty, like the competition. Like I feel like I'm kind of stacking myself against them when I really shouldn't, but.
Right, okay, so a couple things. The first thing is, it's funny, we mentioned Stevie Wonder, who was amazing, and it was really a great experience. So I always say to people when they come to me and say, I don't know how, I've never been trained, I don't know how to sight read, I don't know how to read music, I say, well, neither does Stevie Wonder, right? Or Ray Charles. So I think we have this idea that you have to be trained in something or know how to do something in order to be great at it. Mm-hmm. But before there was language or writing, people sang, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that if you can look at it more as what information do I own, what knowledge do I hold, what contribution can I make, hopefully that'll start to mitigate the self-doubt that says, well, I don't deserve to be here. Mm-hmm. Okay, but also on the other side of the self-doubt coin, you, not necessarily with you, but for many people, I'm sorry, I have my back to you guys, I apologize. For many, I should sit back so I can see all of you. For many people, self-doubt, on the other side of that comes arrogance. I'm not saying you're arrogant, but what I'm saying is any kind of insecurity, if we feel self-doubt, what do we do if we feel like we're not good enough? We try to prove ourselves, right? So there's this dance that we do. So my suggestion is don't try to deal with the self-doubt. I would say try to focus more on just being present without either. You're there for what reason? Why do you want to be on stage? Why do you want to do Broadway? Why do you want to be in a music theater program?
It just makes me happy. I feel like myself when I'm doing it, which is strange, but that's how I always felt.
So wait, does anybody think that that's strange? No. She said, it makes me happy, and I feel like I can be myself. That's not strange at all. That's the purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And in that space, it makes me happy and I can be myself. Who cares how much training you have, right? Mm-hmm. Who cares about anything? So I would hold on to that. Mm-hmm. And then you talked about performance anxiety. So, and I think Tom touched upon this a little bit. Does everyone have a sense of performance anxiety? It's that fight or flight response that goes on in our bodies whenever we get into a situation that we perceive as threatening. So try to make this brief. I talk a lot, so stop me if I'm over-answering your question, honestly. But there's two parts to performance anxiety, I think, that are important. The first is it's just a physiological response. We're human beings that are meant to connect this way, but I can't know every single one of you. So something in me goes, this is unmanageable, right? And I either can struggle with that and resist it, or I can go, that's okay. And so what I do instead is I kind of focus on a couple people, or moment to moment, I just try to really connect with each person, or get a sense of the contribution I want to make to the people. So that helps. But I think also with performance anxiety, one of the big things I work on in my practice, and this certainly is true in auditions, I think culturally, we tend to be very independent. We're very competitive. I don't know if you guys have this experience in your schools. Even if you're not taught, to be independent and beat everybody, it's kind of like air to the bird and water to the fish. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, no, we're team, leadership, la da 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 da. And it's just in our culture. It's not personal to the school, but it's like win, be the best, win, be the best, win, be the best. And unfortunately, while I think that can get you to a certain place, it might actually help you win, you're then alone in that space. You're not in a collective sense or sensation, a sensation of community and collectiveness. And I think the only way to feel truly at peace in life and in performing is to really be willing to be with people. And so I think that's the ultimate choice, is you could be better than people or be with people. Yeah. And so, I'm not perfect at it, but when I walk up here on stage, that's all I want to do. Is I don't have any right answers. I just really, truly want to be with you and hear you and serve. And that makes the fear go away. Yeah. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Good. Awesome. You guys want to give her a hand? Hey, are you a hugger or a handshaker? Anybody else? He's pointing. Yeah, come on up. I saw one hand and a different person. This is the line. Oh my gosh, for real? This is so cool. Okay, so you guys, we can just keep doing this while you eat your lunch, okay? And 5 hours later, we'll be here. Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come on over to my, I'm gonna sit in that chair actually, because I feel like I can see more people, if that's okay. Is this helpful, you guys? No one yet wants to do some talking, but please feel free to raise your hand if you can't hear, or, okay?
For her, I wanted to tell her
Oh.
that, and I trust I'm not sounding arrogant.
No, you can sound arrogant. Good, because you don't want to see me jump off this stage. It would just be embarrassing.
How is everyone? My name is Mary Bay. I'm from Montclair State, and I'm a general attendee.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, for me, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but anything that I go into when it's public, I satisfy me. Now, I don't know if that sounds arrogant, but when it comes to singing, I sing the song that's in my heart. I'm singing to me. If you enjoy it, that's a plus. Mm-hmm. That's an externality, because I'm satisfying me. Same way with acting or speaking. I'm speaking to me.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you won't be afraid.
Right.
Because you know you.
So first, give her a hand. Can you hold off for 1 second? So I think that's true. I think whatever your inner compass is, you have to hold to. I don't know you well, but just my sense is that we're kind of saying a similar thing. If you're doing it because you want to be better than someone else, that's very different than I'm doing this because I just want to feel extraordinary. Like you were saying, you do it because it makes you happy and because it makes you feel like who you are. I think that's the same thing. And so for me, when I was talking about being a contribution, that's what that is for me. That's how that occurs to me. So I agree with you. I just think that when we get out of our head, or actually when we get away from ourselves and stuck in our head, like I have to be better, I have to be great, I have to be terrific. That's a different flavor than you're talking. You can see it in your energy, like I do it for me. When I'm acting and singing, I do it for me. They're different, right? Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. Awesome. All right, my friend. Hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abdullah Cham, general member from University of Maryland Global Campus. So you and we ran into each other 2 times earlier today.
I've been stalking this conference.
So,
I'm like, hi. How you doing?
Well, for starters, I'm not sure if anyone here has seen the show Billions, but she reminds me a lot of Wendy Rhodes. She's a clinical psychologist on the show.
I like that show. I like her. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna choose to make that a compliment. So I hope it is. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Piggybacking off of me running into you, I didn't feel like we had quite an engaging conversation. You spoke to me, and I wanted to have a conversation, but I find myself using one-word answers. So my question for you is, especially when you meet someone for the first time, what advice do you have for really engaging the person and really, breaking the ice, so to speak?
So the first 2 thoughts, I feel like I start every answer with 2 thoughts, right? But I do have 2 thoughts. The first one, I would say that I would consider that the ice you're speaking of is an illusion. I mean, it's obviously an illusion. It's not real ice, but that's not there in reality, right? That's just something we put in, like you're a new person. And that ice, I think, is really our thoughts about the person. Like we all have these thoughts and feelings about like this person. What do I want to say? What do they look like? What do they think? Da, 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 da. That's really what there is to break through. So the first thing I think is it's not going to go away. I've never been able to turn that off the voice in my head. I don't know if you guys can. Actually, can we do a 1-second exercise?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to count to 3, and then when I say 3, I want you to stop thinking. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Did it work? No. Mine was like, how long should I let them do this? Should I keep doing that? Right. So you can't stop thinking. I think when you meet someone, your brain is going to keep saying what it's saying. So I think it's just letting that be and really be with them. And then I don't know who said this, but someone said some version of God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as we talk. So I think that's, and you seem like that kind of a guy anyways, you're really aware. So I think the combination of sort of trying not to give attention to that voice in all of our heads, and also just asking questions, like really getting curious about them. People love to talk about themselves. And that doesn't mean that they're arrogant, to use your word. It just means they want to share, So I think it's like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. Like, what's brought you here? What's going on? What are you doing later? I don't know, whatever the questions are that you feel, it just brings people out of the thoughts in their head and into the reality of having a conversation here. And I think that breaks the ice as you mentioned it.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because I know there's a lot of introverts here, or people who classify themselves as introverts. So I know for introverted people, it's much harder to start a conversation and initiate a conversation. Mm-hmm. So that was my reason. So we can all take this advice and don't be afraid to go up to someone and just say, hey, how are you doing? Give them your elevator speech and ask them a few questions, and you never know.
That's true. And I'd say you can be afraid and still do it. Yeah? So you don't want your fears to stop you. So great, thank you.
Thank you, great answer.
Yes. I never know if you guys hug or shake or.
do a hug.
Okay, good.
3 hugs.
All right, well, this is so awesome. You guys, come on up. I'm sorry you all are standing in a line. Like, I feel like it's rush hour traffic. Hi. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Kenneth.
Hi,
Very
Kenneth.
Nice to meet you.
Here's your microphone.
Thank you.
Come on over. I guess you have some fans in the audience, Kenneth.
That's my man Gio over there. Shout out.
Here, Kenneth, if it's okay, I'm going to put you here just because
Sure.
I feel like when I can see them and... Okay, cool. Hi.
So,
I feel like I need a couch. Like, this is awesome. Like, my practice. Just talk to me. Tell me everything. What's going on?
so I have I keep hearing the advice: be your authentic self and be your authentic self, and I just have like a hard time distinguishing the boundaries in business versus my private life, like how to be authentic but also be professional at the same time.
So that's a great question. I only have one answer to that question, not
Okay.
two. And I want to preface this by saying that what I'm going to say is truly my opinion, which is true of everything I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But this one in particular, I would take with a massive grain of salt because this is just my experience. And in the executives I coach, this seems to work for them too. But it's not traditional. I don't believe in boundaries and compartmentalization, except for the one between your thoughts and feelings and your words, right? So let me try to turn your question around and have you hear it differently, okay? So people have been talking a lot about me being myself, and I'm wondering how that looks, how I should parse that out when I'm with my friends as opposed to when I'm with my clients or my work colleagues. Doesn't that sound a little, not odd, but can you hear it differently? It just sounds a little less, it sounds a little, right? So I think that there's a way that we need to carry ourselves professionally, simply given by the rules of professional decorum. I actually have a problem with that because I think any rule that implies that you shouldn't be real is a problem. Mm-hmm. So I would change that to how can I always be myself and be effective and impactful at work? Does that feel better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get it a lot bit. Okay. So it's not changing yourself. It's kind of like I was just talking about when you listen more than you talk. If you're just thinking, what is that person at work, whether they're a client or a colleague, what do they need? What do they need right now? What's the best way for me to share that with them in a way that they'll get, in a way that it will land? That doesn't mean you have to package yourself differently. It just means maybe it's a moment for humor, or maybe it's a moment to listen more, or maybe it's to say, is there something going on at home you want to talk about? Or maybe it's a moment to say, I shouldn't bring up personal stuff because that person does really compartmentalize their work and life. Mm-hmm. But I think, so when I have one answer, it's long-winded, right? But I think fundamentally my genuine, loving advice would be, please don't ever split yourself up. Be who you are and discover who you are and recognize that who you are has many ways of expressing yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Like when I'm at home with my family, I feel like I swear, the same person as I am here. But obviously, if I talked this long, nonstop for my husband and son, they would be like, stop, shut up, you're talking too much. So it occurs differently at home, but I feel the same with you. Does that help or answer your question?
Yeah, at ease being with myself, like in any situation, and just expressing that fully, I guess. Yeah,
well, let me ask you a question. I mean, when you say you're having trouble with this notion of authentic self, do you feel like you have the question, who are you, is tricky, right? We're millions of things, and we're hopefully always evolving and growing. But do you have a sense of who you are? Like, or better said, a comfort in your own skin?
So in my social life, yes, but not in my professional life, and that's
Why? And again, you can hit the stop button anytime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna have them rolling around on the floor here, and then they're like, ah! No.
So I'm a very blunt person. I like to say things as they are, and this is just my personal belief that not everyone is gonna like you not everyone's going to have the same beliefs as you, and we'll differ on different stuff. And so I'm very, yeah, let me think,
Okay. While you think, can I say something?
Yes.
So you're saying you're very blunt.
Yes.
Okay. So blunt comes, in my experience, from two different places, right? Like it's a habit that I just say what I think, and or, with a slash, I'm blunt because it gets a result that I get off on.
Probably the second one. I'm very result driven. I'm being honest here. I'm being blunt.
Yeah, I like that, right? So you're very result driven. Result driven to me is different than blunt. Like you can have result driven without blunt, right? But for you, they're kind of collapsed?
Yeah, and in my reality, that's how it works.
What are you afraid? By the way, we have 10 more minutes, so I'm not going anywhere today, guys. I will answer each. Yeah, okay. So we might have time for one more after this, unless this poor boy is just up here all day long because I just can't stop. But
this is how we need to do it. We need to get it done. This is how it is. It doesn't get done, I guess. I can't, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. So I'm just going to try to repackage what you're saying in a different way, and you tell me if I'm right, if I hit the nail on the head, okay?
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't really try to nail my point across, people won't pay attention to me or want to pay attention to me.
I'm thinking if that's how I feel.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You want me to try again? Or is it close? Or you say it a different way? But can I just check? Yeah. I'm not going to forget where I am, and if I do, you can remind me. Is this do you guys get what we're talking to him, right? But we're talking to all of us, right? Do you all see where we're going here? Yeah. Helpful? Okay. What's the fear if I'm not blunt, if I have to stop myself, if I can't speak up, if I can't say, hey, I'm here, I need to say this, I need to, Blunt is that blunt object. What happens?
I feel like I'm kind of being false to myself.
Okay. So if you're alone in your room, you have to talk bluntly to yourself to be true to yourself?
I'm a very hard person to myself. I am
So you're blunt with yourself?
Yes, very much.
Okay, so what happens when you stop being hard on yourself and other people and blunt and just concerned that if you don't do that, people won't pay attention to you? What does it mean about you? What are you afraid it means about you?
It makes me feel like I'm not good enough, but I know I am.
Yeah.
I'm
it's okay, I got tissues. Can we, Sierra, I'm not just, yeah. Can I just say something? Of course I can, I have the microphone. You guys, it takes so much courage to get up here. I'm gonna start crying, where's my tissue? Seriously, it takes, we're talking to you, but you're teaching all these people about this, right guys? How many of you can relate to what he's talking about, honestly? Whether you feel like you're fake, or you can't be yourself, or you can't be real, or you can't be authentic, or you feel stifled, right? So you're giving, I just want to tell you, and I'm not just saying this, cheers, tissue cheers. You're giving a gift to all these people, and to me, okay? Okay, so you feel like you can't be yourself, pause. Okay. Can I give you a little, not assignment, but just to try something on? This week, now you go to school and work?
Yes.
Okay. And you're doing both this week?
Yes.
Okay. Consider trying on this week. Every time it rises up, I need to be blunt. I need to speak. I need to say it. Don't. Now, I want to be really clear. I'm not telling him to not talk. I'm not telling him to stifle himself, which is his fear, right? I'm encouraging you that if you give up that thing you perceive as a tool, I think you're going to see something pretty interesting in its absence. I think you might realize that people who are used to you being blunt, when you're not, might go, they might lean in a little more. And I think you're going to see something new about yourself. That tool that I think gives me power doesn't give me power. Does that work? Will you find me after and get my email? Will you call me and tell me how that goes? And I know everyone's like, clap, clap, but can we seriously just give this man a round of, that was such a gift. Can I give you a hug? Do we have time for one more? Daryl's like, stop now. Okay. Okay, Daryl, 5 minutes. Daryl's like 5 minutes with a smile. And that smile's like, 5 minutes.
Okay,
I'm Jennifer.
Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Nice to meet you.
Step into my room of tears.
Okay. My name is Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
I am the Vice President of the Walden Chapter in NSLS.
Okay.
And my question for you is, I know you mentioned that, they had mentioned that in your introduction that you've worked with a lot of celebrities, executives, and kind of coaching. What are some ways that you kind of assess a person's communication style to help kind of bring out their most authentic self?
So I think it's on two levels. Most of what I do is intuitive, for lack of a better word. So I was a professional singer, and then I started working with singers when I was traveling. I would do master classes and stuff, and to make a long story, keeping it to 5 minutes, I started doing master classes and noticed that most issues were caused or exacerbated by something emotional. So someone would come and say, I can't hit this note, and it would be technical, but it was really this. So I did go back to grad school in psychology, but most of it, I'd say, I just kind of sense people. I think, frankly, everyone has that ability. I think we just get in our own way. So I think for whatever reason, I just have the ability to shut off my mind, my thinking mind, and just listen to people, like their body language and and then to the other question, how do you help them then become their most authentic selves as performers and executives, I think you said. So it's getting whatever's in the way out of the way, like the interpersonal stuff. And I think the other two pieces are getting them really focused on what it is they want to contribute. Because as the first person who came up talked about the Geo, right? The voice in the head that doesn't stop talking. You need something stronger and sharper than that to kind of motivate and inspire you. So if you don't have a calling, or whether it's a spiritual thing or whatever it is that's greater than you, or let me turn that around, I think that's imperative in order to really latch onto is something that pulls you forward into work and life. And then I think in terms of speaking, it's just a matter of practice. So for executives I work with who have to speak and engage with people, you work on the interpersonal stuff, but you have them get up. So a lot of times, I don't know if you guys have to do speeches in your schools or in your work, but we all get nervous, but if you did it 300 times in a row, you'd be a lot less nervous just by virtue of doing it. So I think a huge part of it is just getting up again and again and again and again. And learning how to just get comfortable with yourself and other people on stage. So those were the three things. And the only other, you've mentioned the word authentic too. I feel like authentic and transformed, for me those words, there's nothing wrong with those words, but I do feel like they lose they're a little wide these days. So I just want to make sure I know what you mean when you say authentic.
Just kind of like genuine.
Genuine, okay.
And the only reason I ask is because, me being, an aspiring executive minority as well, there's always the constant conflict of how am I carrying myself, how am I presenting myself, especially working in corporate America, and you're working amongst people who they don't see you that often, or they don't, or when they hear you speak, they say, oh, wow, you're really articulate, as if it's a surprise, so,
I get that.
So just kind of being able to convey that and, just like you mentioned, kind of finding something that's greater than yourself, that's motivating you and pushing you to want to be in that particular role.
But see, now with 1 minute left, she opened this whole can of worms that I want to talk to you. But are we really out of time? We're out of time. Can you find me?
Yeah.
Can I take 1 minute? That is this is one of those minefield conversations, right? Because there's a right thing to say, a culturally acceptable thing to say, and then there's what I want to say. So again, take this with a massive grain of salt, okay? I feel like I'm Lebanese, Mexican, and Cuban, right? Which doesn't give me some right to therefore be therefore, since I'm a minority, I get it. I'm just giving you that context from where this is coming from, okay? I think in life, things happen, and there's an impact to those things, right? Like you're this beautiful, brilliant African-American woman who's gonna, no, but right? Hello. It's like obvious. Right, who's gonna walk into a boardroom and who's eventually gonna have to work your way up and fight twice as hard, if not millions of times. You're gonna have the struggle you're gonna have. You can see it, we all see it, right? We know what's gonna happen. So I'm not arguing that, and I'm not telling you to get glossy and rose-colored about that. I'm not saying ignore it. But what I am saying, what my advice to you is to consider taking on, like anything I say, you can throw it out if it's nonsense or try it on, is the world at the moment is a certain way. We want to work to change it, right? But it is at this moment this way. And what do you want to do? Do you want to be the CEO of a company?
I will be.
Hey. I really get that. So what I'm suggesting to you is, I think a lot of people they throw out a lot of precious energy going toward I will be into why is this the way it is? This is wrong. This is bad. This is not fair. This isn't 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 fair. And it's not fair. But making it wrong with a period after that, it's wrong and bad, period, doesn't do anything for it or you. So that's all I would encourage you to try on is acknowledge that it's there. Don't sugarcoat it. Come up with things you can do in the world, not in your head and in your frustration, to change them and live your life. And when all those things happen that are not fair and right, be like, there it is. That's not fair and right. That's not fair and right. And I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to change it. Thank God I have a tissue. And I'm going to get to the top and change it. Thank you very much. Yes, I can see you're ignorant. Thank you very much. And here I am. And now with love and not a victim mentality, I'm going to make a difference. You want a tissue too? Is that helpful? Okay. You're so welcome. Hey guys, so I have to stop talking now. And you all have to stop talking, and I wish it wasn't so, but thank you guys so much. You're welcome. I'm not going anywhere. I'm around. Find me, and thank you. This is such a gift, guys. I'm grateful. And thank God they had tissues.
Please give Jennifer a round of applause. Stay right here. Stay right here.
I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here. Okay. Here.
So Jennifer, one of the things when anyone comes into our summit here, one of the things we've been doing is allowing that person to receive some gratitude from the audience. And so we have some mic runners here, and I'll take this mic from you. So who would like to give Jennifer some gratitude, just some gratitude for what you experienced or felt over the last session together? We'll start right here. And you just get to receive it.
I'm just.
Hello, my name is Clyde. Your last point literally just made this whole entire conference go from here, it was already up there. And now it's all the way up there because I personally feel I try to find ways to be productive, and there's all these different things going on, especially with my people, and I feel so bad, and I feel like I don't have any way to change it. But you saying being able to acknowledge it but still strive what goal you have, that made me a lot more empowered and motivated to do that without feeling like there's I'm ruining something on another side or I'm holding people back. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that a lot.
Good. Let's get some more. Who else? Who's got one? We got one right here, and then we'll make our way. Can you just head back there? You see one? Yep.
So I'm Dan. I just really enjoyed this session. I wish it could go straight on through the lunch session. This just left me wanting more. I really enjoyed the emotional roller coaster that was involved with all the different people that came up on that stage. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah. All right back there. We got one. Yep.
Hi, my name's Lorraine. I want to agree with the gentleman. I think the last point that you made said it all for me for this weekend. Like you said, because so many times as people of color, we always want to go to the victim thing. But rather than, like you said, looking at our situations and being victims, why don't we just say we're victorious? And we are going to be the leaders that changes this world to recognize that we all have more in common than we do difference.
Yeah.
And then right in front, I think there was a gentleman right there, that had one. And we're going to close out on that gratitude. the final.
Do I have to introduce myself? My name is Anthony Austin. I'm from Penn State. I'm the secretary of my chapter.
Hi, Anthony.
I just wanted to say it was really, that last part, it spoke to me as well. It was really comforting to hear. It's something that I've heard in my family a lot. It was something that only my dad would say to me, just like the constant reminder that we can choose to victimize ourselves or we can choose to look past it because that's a situation that we don't have control over, but we have control over everything else.
All right, so Jennifer, hopefully you received that.
I got it.
Yeah, and I suspect there's some people out there that have a few more questions and comments for you. Would you be willing to stick around for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not going
All right, we'll just move the 2 chairs back there. And so anywhere, where, Jennifer, you're gonna hang out? There's a table back there. Oh, great.
Actually, and this is not, I'm gonna
Yes,
be by, I have
and
some books. You
yeah.
don't have to buy them, but come at least learn about them if you want, and more importantly, come talk to me if you want. This is such a gift, but I'll be back there if Izzy wants to, oh yeah, we got a couple people if they wanna raise their hands. I'll be back by that big sign.
Great. So she has books, and also this is an honors membership leadership society, and so one of the things is everyone here has been inducted into it, and so we would like to make you an honorary member of the society.
I really am honored. Thank you so much. Thank you,
as
guys.
well as a T-shirt for you. So you get a T-shirt.
Thank
There you
you
go.
so
You get
much.
that. One more time, can we give Jennifer a huge round of applause? You're gonna head that way and just make your way back towards the table. Yeah. Thank you so much.